Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Abigail.
Good morning.
Thank you for letting me out of my room this week. I'm happy to be back.
Oh, yes. I'm happy to have
I'm
you
happy
back.
to be sitting next to you today.
I didn't send you to your room.
Yes, to the dungeon.
To the dungeon. Last week was a fun show, though.
It was.
I hate my hair today. Don't talk about it. It was a fun show. Stephanie was so good.
She's good. Oh, welcome to Journeys and Ambitions. I'm Jennifer Journeys.
And I'm Abigail, aka Ambitions. Yeah, I'm really actually super excited for today's topic.
Yeah?
So super excited. Yeah. Do you want to know why? I'm going to tell you why.
Tell me.
I'm also going to fix my hair because I actually hate the way it looks with the headphones. Anyways, today our title is Not Like Other Girls. And if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
By the way, I didn't know.
You didn't know?
As usual. I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
I did some research.
We're going to be talking about pick-me girls. And conveniently enough, there's a perfect pop culture story that I want to talk about. I did not give you a warning on this.
You didn't. And I do want to say that this idea actually came from last week when I told Stephanie, I was hyping her up. And I told Stephanie, I was like, I'm a girl's girl. She's like, you are. Mm-hmm. How you turn that into this, I don't know. But we'll also be talking about being a girl's girl.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is the opposite of being a girl's girl.
The pick me is the opposite of being a girl's girl.
We're going to talk about all the things.
Yeah. So I am a girl's girl through and through. Like, okay, let me just say, maybe I should look up the actual definition of what a pick me girl is. Let me do that.
I did.
Well, I want to do it.
And there's different ones.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Well, yeah, Urban Dictionary, anybody can put information on there.
No, I didn't look that up.
Okay. So according to Urban Dictionary, a pick me is a woman. Oh, wait, you have it right there?
No, I just I put different. My little notes have that there's different definitions. Go ahead, though.
This one is a pick-me is a woman that is willing to do anything for male approval. She will embarrass or throw other women under the bus to achieve this goal. The unfortunate thing about a pick-me is usually the men they are trying to seek approval from are of poor quality and treat women badly, leaving little real benefit for the pick-me. So, yeah, the pick-me is a girl that will, like, shut other girls down or, like, I don't know. And the reason we said not like other girls is because that's kind of where it came from.
It did come up when I researched the pick me, that term.
Yes. Yeah. It's basically the girl that's like, I'm not like, and I knew it picked me. If you are from my past or whatever, you'll know. I've talked about this girl before on my TikTok. Oh. Yes, I've talked about it before on my TikTok.
I think I've been a pick-me, but go ahead.
This girl that I used to work with at Chipotle, she was a pick-me girl. She was my manager at Chipotle. She was, one of the managers. She was terrible. Hated her. But she was always talking about, like, oh, well, like, I just never played with Barbies growing up. Like, you know, I just, girls are so much drama. Like, I prefer to be around men because girls are just so much drama. And I, you know, like a guy's girl, like a guy or a girl that, like, you think the guys want to be around, like, oh, I drink beer. And first of all, there's nothing wrong with liking sports and drinking beer and not playing with Barbies as a girl. Like, there's literally nothing wrong with that. But to, like, say it as if you're superior to other women because you don't do quote unquote feminine things that's like actually misogyny. Like, you're literally saying things that are associated with femininity are like gross and icky, and I'm cooler because I don't like things that are feminine. And it's gross and it's weird and it's weird ass bitch behavior, and I hate it.
So you had the definition up, but I saw same idea, but basically striving for men's attention, not necessarily even
romantically,
like getting that man, but just always having
the approval of a man,
the male attention. And I kind of was like reading more into it because as we know, we've talked about on the Live Victory show, is that I have guy tendencies. No, I don't like sports. No, I don't drink beer. No, I don't play video. Like, I don't do those things. Mm-hmm. But I just was closer to my father. And then, like, at age 10, I lived with my father, and he was single for a few years, right? And then, you know, anyway, so he was my parental figure. So I tend to have, like, male-dominated viewpoint, not dominated, but male viewpoints that a lot of women necessarily wouldn't have.
I think you also, well, and I also feel like it's not even about the man itself always too. Like sometimes it's literally just shutting down women, and it's not always. I think it is
Right.
male centered, like at the core, but I don't think every situation is like there could not be a man in the room, and the girl's just like a pick me girl is just gonna like want to be in the presence of a man or like
Yeah. So I would say that most men like me, like me, think I'm cool like me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have like male friends. My friends are female.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't strive to hang out with men. I get along with most men.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't really have a lot of male friends. I have a few that I grew up with that live in another state.
Yeah.
And don't talk to them that much because they have families and mates and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of like, as I was reading it, I was getting nervous. Oh, do I think I'm not like other girls?
No, I don't.
I think everybody should think that because you're not. Everybody's unique.
There's nothing wrong with having male friends or even doing. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with if you like things that are boy. Like there's tomboys, and you can be a tomboy. You can be a girl who doesn't gravitate towards feminine things. But to put it down is when you become a pick me, right?
So I read further. Right.
There are plenty of people that I know that like girls that I know that are friends with guys and can't relate. I don't like to be around men in a platonic way, a romantic way.
Any kind of way.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I have like friends who have like boyfriends or whatever that I think are fine. I'm like, yeah, what he can hang out with us, whatever. I'm not like that anti-man, but like I don't have like close friendships with men like that.
No, like I would say I get along with all of my friends' husbands or boyfriends.
And look at me putting
not
down
all of them.
Look at me putting down men. I'm the opposite of a pick me. I'm probably, what do they say? I'm a misandrist. People say I'm a misandrist. I probably
no, you can't introduce new words. I didn't look it up.
It's like it's like misogyny, but like you think women are superior.
Oh, well, I mean,
that's me.
If the shoe fits.
Yeah. I'm a misandrist.
Anyway, but no, like but I don't put other women down. So in that sense, I feel like I'm a girl's girl.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's girls that I think are ridiculous.
Right.
The whole pick me thing. So also it referenced Grey's Anatomy, which we all know the whole, I stopped watching the show at this point and I know the scene.
That's,
the pick me, love me,
pick
choose
me, love me, choose me.
Whatever.
Which, like you said, I've been that girl, right? Like, obviously,
I've been that girl.
I've dated guys and stuff like that before, but like,
it makes me kind of right now.
But I've been that girl that's like, man, what? Like, and so much so when you're like obsessed with somebody or you're into them, right? And you want them to like you over someone else that you think might be a threat, right? I think it is kind of human nature to like put down. I'm not saying I haven't had pick me moments. I'm not saying I haven't had pick me moments. I definitely have. And I used to think I lived my life very male centered. And I've like now switched to female centered in terms of my friendships, just who I hang out with. And I align myself with very feminine things because that's like where I feel comfortable. But that's not to say that like professionally I can't, work with a man or like, or like I said, my friends will have boyfriends and stuff like that. Now, am I going to like go out of my way to have male friendships? No, because I personally think a lot of the times, and people might hate on this. I'm kind of we'll go back to the pick me thing, but I also feel like sometimes too, I've just lost my train of thought. I literally just lost my train of thought. Anyway.
Well, I was going to say, I used to say that I preferred having a male boss. Mostly because at some point in my career,
I was going to say men and women can't be friends. Sorry. We'll come back to that.
Oh, we will come back to that.
Yeah.
I was at some point in my career, I felt like women like that I had dealt with were competing, right? Or they want to keep you down because like I had worked in at the time, male dominated industry. Right. And so the women that were in charge had really worked really hard to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they wanted to keep you kind of like, they wanted to be up there.
Sometimes, especially
not all of them,
if you're in a male dominated field and let's say like everyone who's your superior is a man, right? A female who makes it to the top might feel like, oh, well, it's because I'm not like these other women.
Right. And so that they're not,
so they might see you as a threat if they see that like the other people also are gravitating towards you.
I also felt that, and I haven't had a whole lot of female bosses, but I also felt that like they could be more micromanaging.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it because what you do is a reflection of them. And I think women we're screwed in my line of business. We're scrutinized more.
Yeah.
So they got to make sure the people under them are being correct. Right.
Yeah.
It's just it's a big, what do you call it? Carousel. Right.
Yeah.
And then, so the men, I felt like were just more like, yeah, Jennifer, do your thing. Like, I trust you.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Right. These guys are great. whatever. Anyway, I really had one time tell me, why do you copy me on things? I was like, because my last boss, he goes, no, I hired you because I trust you. Quit copying me on everything.
Yeah.
The next boss, a female, I need you to copy me on everything. I'm like, here we go. I mean, but it's all whatever. But then
I've had pretty much only female bosses.
I had a couple.
I haven't had hardly any. So like, and I've never really gotten that like vibe. Like I personally, again, I've also been in environments like, especially my last few jobs have been like mostly women. Where like it was mostly women. I worked at Ulta Beauty, like that was mostly girls. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't get a ton of that because those are girls who like are throwing themselves into femininity and like into those spaces too. So I think it depends. I think, like you said, I think you're in a more male dominated field. So the women in those spaces are going to move differently because they have to. It's not always out of like being a pick me. I think it's sometimes out of like survival and like trying to just keep going.
So when I worked in technology, which I'm in again, I had mostly male, right? No, I guess half and half. And then I went to travel, which is female dominated, and I had mostly male bosses, but I did get one, and unfortunately because of the pandemic, she was only my boss for a couple months, which bummed me out because she was literally so cool, and she was all about like she had made it here, and she wants to bring all the girlies up with her.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, like it was so refreshing and so like really cool. I was really excited to work for her, and then unfortunately, travel industry kind of
and then there's that like whole idea of like a boss babe, like a girl who's like grinding and stuff like that, which in the past has been a very like male thing to do, right? Like to like men used to really only work, women used to not really work. So that's kind of what I'm referring to when I say that. So I think that has kind of made it to where like women have to, like I said, have to act more masculine to be taken more seriously. And I'm not even saying masculine. Like I'm not saying that she can't wear like a pink suit. It's more like in the behavior and the way you treat other women. Whenever I'm referring to like a woman acting more masculine or
it's not pick me, but along those same lines, I was actually just thinking too. I've had at least 2 female bosses in my life that were not married and no children, and very much looked down upon women who were married and had children because you're gonna call off sick when you're kid, that kind of thing. And it was kind of like, yikes, they were
again. I think that's a more like
very, very career driven. Women,
which is seen as a more masculine thing. I'm not saying that it is. I'm not saying because of the history of our society. I think they're not being driven in your career and like putting work first is seen as a more masculine trait.
I don't think they're pick me. I don't think they're trying for male attention. I just think they're just career driven, like you said.
So whenever we're talking about girls too, like I said earlier, like sometimes it doesn't always have to be about men. Sometimes it can just be like, this girl's not for the girls. Like she's not for the men. She's not for the girls. She's just the bitch. So there's this drama. So I'm going to tell you about.
Was this the story that I interrupted?
Oh,
no, never mind. Oh
no, I was going to talk about men and women can't be friends.
Oh, I thought there was a story at the very beginning that I interrupted.
Was there?
Pop culture. I didn't warn you about this.
That was it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm about to say.
Never mind.
Okay. So the story is, and again, this doesn't really have to do with like male attention as far as I know. So have you heard of Ice Spice, the rapper?
No.
She's like she's really like up and coming. Well, was up and coming, I would say like last year. Now she's like big-ish, not like quite on like Nicki Minaj or like Meg Thee Stallion level, but like she's getting there, right? I came on stage with Taylor Swift, your favorite. You love her.
My girl.
She's besties with Taylor Swift. Anyways, so she's like a newish rapper, right? And so she went on this tour, right? And so she was friends with a girl named Cleo Trappa, but I'm just going to call her Cleo.
Okay.
She was friends with Cleo. So she asked Cleo to go on tour with her. And this is from Cleo's perspective. She's telling the story. She exposed Ice Spice.
Ice Spice?
Ice Spice, like pumpkin spice latte.
Like iced tea, but ice.
Ice Spice.
Oh, ice. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Ice Spice, okay, is the one we're exposing. She's not a girl's girl, allegedly, supposedly.
Okay.
These are from the words of Miss Cleo Trappa herself. Love her. So
Cleo.
Cleo. Yes. So she releases this like 4-part thing on TikTok about like how she went on tour with Ice Spice. And I didn't watch, I think I missed one of them because I think they were like taken down and re-uploaded. So I think I missed one of them. But basically she's going on tour with Ice Spice, and Ice Spice has a label, right? Like her label's paying for everything. Like money's no thing. Money's no object. She tells Cleo the day before the tour, hey, come on tour with me. And she was like, you'll be with me. You'll be fine. You don't have to worry about it. But like, if you have anybody with you, you'll just have to pay for their like room and transportation. She goes, okay, cool. So like, but the whole time, like Ice Spice is kind of like, why are you in my space? Like not sharing things with her, and like, which is like, she doesn't have to, but she said she would. And that's kind of the problem of it. And like her security.
She didn't get her own bus or whatever. Cleo didn't get her own bus.
No. And like, so there's this whole situation with the bags, right? So Ice Spice security was holding the bags, was carrying Ice's bags. And Cleo had one little bag, and she asked the security guard to take it, and he straight up said no. And so she went up to Ice Spice and was like, girl, why didn't he take my bag? Like, I look crazy carrying my bag. All these fans saw me carrying my bag. And, you know, you have security carrying your 20, 30 bags. I have one little bag. And,
she only have one bag. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I don't know. She didn't say that. I think I'm assuming based off of the way I don't think she said it was one bag. But anyways, and so anyway, Ice Spice was like, well, I'm gonna have to pay him more if you want him to carry your bag. Like, so are you gonna pay for that? Basically. And was like being mad extra. But then there's this whole thing where like they were they were getting a hotel room, and this whole time, like she's been like, her people have been getting her a room, or she's been sharing a room or whatever. And they're on the elevator, and Ice looks at her crazy in front of people, right? Like they're in front of people. And she goes, so you're not going to get your own room? Instead of having like a private conversation, like, hey girl, I know I said I would blah, blah, blah. Or like, can you get your own room tonight? Like I kind of want privacy, or I want to invite my boyfriend over, whatever.
Right.
But like to say it in front of people. So that to me is why that specific part. And there was a situation, I think this is the part that I missed. There was a situation with like food where like I forgot exactly what happened. Something happened with food, and like Ice was being shady with her food too. Like was like not like wanted control in that sense. You know what I'm saying? And it was giving, when Cleo was telling the story, it was kind of giving like, okay, Ice isn't a girl's girl. She wants to embarrass you in front of people, make you look broke, like so you can't get your own room.
She getting paid to do this? Cleo being paid, I assume?
I don't know, actually. Yeah. That was very unclear. But all that to say, if you know about the Ice Spice story, then you know. But basically, I don't think Ice Spice, a lot of people are unfollowing her now because they feel like she's not a girl's girl, which is why I want to bring it up. Again, and none of this, from what I could tell, had to do with like impressing a man, although I do think there were probably a lot of men around. But Cleo didn't
exerting her authority
and dominance and making you feel small, which again goes back to acting masculine. I'm not saying all men do that. I'm not actually a misandrist, but I'm not saying all men do that. But that is like seen as a more
male trait
against women, right? Like you feel like they're making you feel small. So for Ice to do that was kind of like, girl, that's your friend. You're gonna like call her out in public. Like I'm
even if you're not friends,
I'm all for like addressing things, right? And be like, but like that can be done privately, not like in the elevator with the whole team. And now you're gonna leave me looking embarrassed, because that's kind of what Cleo said. She was like, if you would have told me, I would have had the hotel booked before we got there. It wouldn't have been an issue, but you told me when we were at the hotel in the elevator, which is crazy.
Right.
Like now you're making me look stupid. Like I'm
you see a key in my hand? Like
right. Right.
What's
so
going on here?
Being a pick me and being like not a girl's girl can just be like just being like nasty for no reason, I think.
Yeah. It's pretty. Yeah. So but the whole like Grey's Anatomy thing, that has a thing too, where kind of like didn't his wife come back and then
I know all about Grey's Anatomy.
I know you do. You've seen it like 10 times.
I've seen it a million times.
I kind of know the idea.
So she meets Derek, and they barely know each other. They like hook up, and then she's like, okay, it's my first day at work, and he's her boss. Like they hooked up before they knew they worked together.
That's right.
Yeah. And then
she had mad
they
crush.
had like a situation, but he's like her like she's an intern, and he's like an attending. So he's like not even, he's above resident, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like a chief of neurology. Anyways, so she's like, I can't date you. Like that looks bad, because like I'm trying to like grind and be a doctor, and it's gonna look bad that I'm like sleeping with my boss, right? Anyway, so they end up having a relationship. She falls for him. She has like commitment issues, and she has issues.
McDreamy, right?
McDreamy, yeah. But so as soon as she like really starts to like connect with him and like be vulnerable with him and like be more like, okay, I'm willing to like take this to the next step, his wife comes back, and she didn't even know he was married.
I thought they weren't divorced.
No, they weren't divorced. They were separated.
I thought they were divorced.
No, so his wife Addison was cheating with
Addison.
his friend McSteamy.
McSteamy. And then
Yeah.
McSteamy shows up.
And then
too.
McSteamy shows up,
But they're
and then
somehow
starts
still
dating
friends.
Meredith's sister.
Oh, that one I didn't know.
But anyways,
Now I'll have to watch it again.
Yeah.
But aren't like don't McDreamy and McSteamy, aren't they friends?
they're besties. Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Even though
Well, they're both dead, but yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But
at the time, yeah.
even though he was sleeping with the wife.
Well, yeah, they became friends again because then they said, well, Addison went away and she started her private practice on a show called Private Practice.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyways,
Basically, she's a big.
so the whole pick me thing came from, so basically Addison came back and McDreamy is like, you know, I have to try to work it out with my wife. He feels an obligation, even though he feels like drawn to Meredith. And which I think is a good trait to have. Like, I'm going to try to work out with my marriage. But it was bad for Meredith, right? Because she's
Right.
like, I just started opening up to you. Now I'm the dirty mistress and I didn't even know you had a wife.
Right.
Like you, without my consent, put me in this
Right.
throuple situation, love triangle, not throuple, but love triangle situation. So, and then also Addison starts working there. Now Addison's Meredith's boss. So not only is one of her bosses her ex, but then the other boss is her ex's wife.
And they're all kissy face and stuff. I remember that. And Meredith's like,
Yes. But so then Meredith goes on this whole monologue, which I should honestly learn. So I can just like perform it for you right now. But she goes, pick me, choose me, love me. She says that to him in the stairwell and he doesn't choose her. But so that's kind of
ever work?
Right? When you say like,
I feel like if you have to say that,
if you have to grovel on your knees for somebody, you're down bad, girl. Not to say I haven't done it. I have absolutely done it.
I found it
Is it embarrassing as hell?
Even that scene to me, I was like, oh, cringe.
Yeah.
Have I been that chick?
100%.
Maybe. Yes, I have.
Yeah, in my relationship.
But now it makes me
I feel like another woman is a threat, I do in private, maybe say not so nice things about her. Didn't we talk about that? No take backs or something? I don't say it to her face, but I will say it in private because you know you need to get it out.
I just think again,
we all have pick me moments. I'm not a perfect person.
In most situations, well, actually, all situations to some degree, if your mate is flirting, talking, cheating, whatever they're doing over there, you don't need to be mad at that other girl.
Right.
I mean, if you know and whatever, you can be a little mad, but and then, you know, but if you start talking about how she looks and stuff,
right? Like,
I mean, really,
ugly,
you're putting yourself down because he's trying to flirt with her.
Right.
So what's that say about you if you're talking? Anyway,
no, I agree.
He's the one who should be loyal to you, not that chick.
Right.
Now,
I can still not like that bitch.
You cannot. I mean, you can absolutely.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's not the person who needs to be loyal to you. So
yeah,
you need to be mad at the person who's
entertaining it.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like
that doesn't mean that there's plenty of women that I'm not big fans of. Because
right. I don't think being a girl's girl means you support all women for whatever reason. I do sometimes if I don't feel like thinking about it. I'm like, well, she's a girl, so she's probably right. I do. There's this saying like, I support women's rights and I support women's wrongs.
That's funny.
Which I do fall victim to. I'm like, so what if she was speeding? She doesn't deserve a speeding ticket.
Okay, so I think that's where like my being raised by a man comes in, because I'm often like combating with my friends who talk about, well, he did this and he did that, and I'm like, settle down. Like, did you ever think da da da? And they're like, stop doing that, Jennifer. Stop. And I'm like, no, you're kind of overreacting. Does that mean I don't overreact in my relationship? Of course I do.
If someone told me I was overreacting, I would.
Yeah, I don't tell you that because you're mean.
I am mean.
I love you.
I'm a girl's girl though, but I'm a mean, bitchy girl's girl. Mm-hmm. But I'm very much a girl's girl. Like my besties are all girls.
Yes.
I do girly things. I like pink and sparkles and cheetah girls and Hannah Montana. I was gonna show it.
The mouse is pink.
Yes, everything's pink. Look at this. Honestly, look at this super cute keyboard. Different shades of pink with cute little girly pop stickers on it.
What have I started?
Yeah, like Sabrina Carpenter for the girls. Ariana Grande, we don't know. You heard about Ariana Grande?
No.
And Eden Slater? Yeah.
Okay, go.
I've been watching also a lot.
Does it have to do with Wicked?
It does have to do with Wicked.
Okay, then I'm all in. Go.
So Ethan Slater, he was on Broadway. He was SpongeBob. So, and he's also, not my words, like hard on the eyes. People have said.
Oh. Okay.
And so Ariana Grande was married to this guy named Dalton. Dalton, I don't believe has any sort of fame. I think he was.
Oh, she was married.
She was married, right? It was
Okay.
very low key. She was married to this guy Dalton for like 4 or 5 years or something.
Oh, wow.
Because I know she was married, or
I thought she was like 12.
she was engaged to Pete Davidson. I remember
yeah.
that was like in like 2018, and then she very quickly was engaged and married to this guy named Dalton, but didn't post it much. It wasn't like super out there, and like I don't think he's famous or anything as far as I know. Anyway, so they were married. So she was married to Dalton when she got the role of Wicked, right? And she's already not super public about this relationship, which is like sketchy, right? A little bit, because she was all over Pete and Mac Miller,
which I don't get the appeal there, but go ahead.
Anyway, so her and Dalton were married, and then Ethan Slater was married to a woman, to a lady, and they had just had a baby. And
I see where this is going.
Somehow in the filming of Wicked, because he's in Wicked too, he plays Bach. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who's with Nessa?
Makes sense.
I nothing to confess, a reason why. Well,
Also,
why I asked you here tonight.
Also a character that's hard on the eyes.
Also a character that's hard on the eyes. Perfect, because he also played SpongeBob, which is like right. Anyways, so now they're together, like, and there's like paparazzi. So people kind of question, because Ariana Grande is known for being a cheater. She also, rest in peace, cheated with Big Sean when he was dating Naya Rivera. Rest in peace, Naya Rivera. So they were together, and then she started dating Big Sean. So it's not even like she's like taking.
Is this verified information?
This is verified.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna say allegedly, but
let's just say that so we don't
get
sued by anybody.
But it happened. And so she's like known for being a cheater. You know who's also known for stealing men, who I also love? The Kardashians. They steal
all of them?
So many.
Just all the Kardashians?
All of them.
And the Jenners?
And the Jenners. Kylie stole Travis Scott from Justine Skye. They were like a thing.
Can I say the thing?
Oh,
that you can't steal somebody?
Well, you can't. But and then
see how you were blaming the women.
Kim and Khloe have done some weird stuff. As far as I know, Kourtney's in the clear. But Kim and Khloe have done some weird stuff, like, because she was besties with Amber Rose. Kanye was dating Amber Rose, and she was besties with her. And then I think Khloe wasn't like friends with the women, but she doesn't care. That's why her man cheated on her too. I love the Kardashians. I also love Ariana Grande.
But you see how we said it? She stole. Isn't it the men that left their girl for someone else?
It is. No, it's 100% the man's fault. And I do think as a society, we do put it more on women.
Clearly they're pick-me girls who are trying to get that man's attention.
I do think we put it more on women, but it is especially shady. Like when like Khloe comes on here crying about her man cheating on her, when you've been the other girl so many times. Like, I think it's inevitable to think like, oh, how could somebody do that to me? Like another woman, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been approached by men who have girlfriends, and and I always like, I very much am like, okay, no, gross, weird. You know what I'm saying? And I've never like reached out to a girl because I've never like known the girl, right? It's just a girl that I don't, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't really feel like it's my place to do that, but I have enough respect for her as a woman to not entertain her man. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of, like, even if I was interested or whatever, or wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't, because you have a girlfriend, and I have more respect for the woman than I do for you. So I'm not going to entertain you. I
have a one friend who always brings this up because she thought it was hilarious. But we were out, and this guy was like, "Hey, can I get your number? You want to go out sometime?" And I said, "You had a wedding ring on." I'm like, "Is your wife going to come along? Like, she cool?"
Yeah.
Like, and he kind of like tried to put his hand away, and I was like, "So that's no, then?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, she's cool. She's cool. We have an open relationship." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. What about me made you think I like being someone's side chick?" Like,
yeah.
And he started talking to me. I go, "You should go sit down over there."
Yeah.
Like far away from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
he kept coming back. I mean, I was like, I'm not kidding.
Some girls love being the other woman. Like again, another artist that I love.
guess you don't have the responsibilities.
Another artist I love, SZA, has a song called The Weekend where she literally talks about being someone's side chick.
Oh. Okay. Well,
like literally she says like, you take care of him during the week and I take care of him on the weekends, is the whole premise of the song. It's a great song.
I mean,
Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday and Friday.
I feel like
I just keep them satisfied through the weekend.
We're just gonna break.
You like 9 to 5 on the weekend.
This is the musical
Make
edition
him
of Journey
lose
to
his
the
mind every weekend.
Are you really just going to burst into song?
You take
Yes.
Wednesday, Thursday, and just send him my way. Think I got it covered for the weekend.
Is there a song about September? There is. Isn't there a September song?
Wake me up when September ends.
Because what's September? It's September now, Abby. What's September?
September is Jennifer's birthday.
Woo, woo, birthday month. Virgo season. You know, if y'all need to know where to send gifts, and if you know, I can give you my number if you want to sell me cash or anything, because girl's a little short right now.
I have more to say about pick-me's actually.
I just want you to pick me to send money or a gift to.
I have another thing about pick-me's. Okay, so we talked about. I do want to talk about how men and women can't be friends. I do want to get into that, but before we get into that, and again, I don't like to make blanket statements. I'm sure there are men and women out there who are perfectly platonic, and I love that for you. I don't want that, and I don't want that around me because I don't believe in that.
I have a theory on it too.
But I also want to talk about because this kind of goes into like mama's boys and like you know those women who are like they love their son a little too much.
Yeah,
like you want to marry your son, like so much so that she'll put down any girl that he's with because she wants her son. And it's because I think also those women come from, and I'm just making assumptions here based off of what I've seen in the media and movies and in people that I've like heard of and know or whatever, right? Like they were in a relationship where they didn't feel satisfied by the men romantically, right? Like maybe the dad is a deadbeat, or maybe the dad just maybe only stuck around for the kids but isn't super romantic. Whatever the situation may be, right? Wasn't happy in her romantic relationships with men. So then, like many people have children and they think the child is going to change their life, and they think that this child is going to be everything and answer every prayer and fix every problem that they've ever had in their life because people are delusional. And so these women will have sons and then, I'm raising a little man. And like, you know, I'm going to make this man the perfect man, the man I could never find. So much so that they now, and I'm going to say it, groomed their son into being the perfect man for them. And then these men get in relationships, right? Because they don't want to be with their mom. And then the mom is like, you know, harassing the girl, making her feel small, like saying mean things to her, tearing her down. And then she's expecting the son or, you know, the man in this situation to like always put her first. And like, and it's like, no, he has a wife now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So mama's boys, let's go there, girl.
I'm trying to think if I think anybody that I've dated was like a mama's boy. I mean, I could see a couple of them where the most of the moms liked me.
Most of the people you dated,
except the ones I married. Like, that's weird. maybe once I become the wife, they're like, Well, no, I mean, and part of it was because I'm now the head female of my family. Yeah, and so that man has to answer to me about,
and not his mommy,
right? About things going on in his life. I think
mama,
or not answer to me, but you know what I mean.
I think the mothers of mama's boys are pick-me's.
They're pick-me's.
And I'm not saying I'm a guy who just loves his mom. I'm saying, you know what? When I say like a creepy, there's a specific genre of mama's boy mothers that I'm talking about. Because there's nothing wrong with having like a close relationship with your child, but it's, you know, it's when it feels weird. You know, when things like feel weird, they are weird. It's when you see it and you're like, oh, that's uncomfortable. You know.
Okay. I should not say what I'm about to say, but anyway, I have a half brother and my mom's son, and he's much younger than me. So we didn't grow up in the same even state, right? And my ex-husband, like happened to be working in the same state. So he went and had dinner with them. And he was just basically like, do you know that your mom cut your brother's meat? Like he started going, and I was like, what? She orders for him and this and that. And I mean, we're talking about my mother was older. So sorry, brother. And my mother, his birthday's coming up. Happy birthday, brother. Don't hate me. But I mean, it's obviously not like that now. Right? Yeah. But he was still kind of an advanced age where it was kind of like, what's going on there? Well, you know what I mean?
I'm not even talking about when the mom babies them for too long. I'm literally talking. No, I'm talking about when like she like
in a sense kind of sexualizes him, but not sex, but like
it's not always sexual, but it's like you when they overdo the you're the man of the house. Like, no, that is a 6-year-old boy. He's the baby of the house. He's not the man of the house.
I was actually talking to,
and they try to like put them in like a husband role.
I was talking to a friend of mine who has, she only has one boy, a son, and he is kind of gotten in her relationship business, right? And has said some stuff to her partner. And because you and I have, we still live together and we talk about things. I kind of told her, I said, be very careful with that. Like, I'm sure he feels like kind of a big man right now speaking to your partner that way, right? And you think he's protecting you, but at some point he's going to be resentful that you put him in a position instead of being the child of being your protector.
Right.
You know, and he may not feel that way now, but I think it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
And I said, I know this from just discussions that you and I have had and, parental failures, not like that, just learning lessons of things that we've encountered in our own relationship. So, so that I just thought that was relevant because you said like they make him like a little man, and she was telling me like, oh, he stood up for me, and I was like, I mean that. And I'm just saying there was no judgment. I'm sure
it feels great, right? It feels good,
but there was no judgment. I was just like, just be very careful with that. I wouldn't want you to, a few years from now, that like I didn't get to be a child because I was too busy worrying about you. You know what I mean? And so. Anyway,
now for a couple minutes, I want to talk about how we said men and women can be friends.
Yeah, I have theories on that as well.
Yeah. So I would just like to reiterate what I said. If you are a man or a woman and you have a friend of the opposite sex and you guys are just friends, platonic, and there's never been anything romantic, there never will be anything romantic, I'm so super happy for you and congratulations. Now we're going to talk about.
That's like 1%.
Me. Well, not me, but my opinions, I guess.
Or it's like 1%, or the what's the I don't even know, the sexuality is not the same, right? Because my theory has always been men and women cannot be friends because one of the two wants more than that, whether they state it or not.
Yeah,
either has wanted more, there's been more. They want more. They're secretly in love with them, and the other one doesn't. Whatever,
some sort of attraction, something.
Yeah, there's something going on there.
And a lot of it is what I think people like started off romantic and then decided actually maybe not. Like, but I still want to be your friend, which I can see.
It's okay, but how good of friends are they really?
But I don't know. There's always going to be a thing, especially if like sex was involved. You know what I'm saying? And like, as a voluptuous woman.
Did you say voluptuous?
Does that mean curvaceous? I got it.
Voluptuous?
Voluptuous, what's the difference?
A letter? Just one little letter?
Do they mean different things, or did I just pronounce one word wrong? Oh, okay.
That's a Brother Carter.
I'm a curvaceous, beautiful lady. You know what I'm saying? She's desired, and so I'm gonna get in trouble for that.
I love you.
But you know what I'm saying? And so like there have been times where maybe I have to like I've been friendly or friends with a man, or even women who are attracted to other women or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of the situation, someone who is attracted to women, I'm just going to say someone who's attracted to women. Right. And like, you think it's fun and we're just hanging out. And then like, there's always like, there's a comment made, like, you know what I'm saying? Like a sexualizing comment, or it might even be like, oh, well, if I had the chance, like, like those little jokes that aren't really jokes. And so that to me is how I know that it's not truly platonic, because I have friends who are truly platonic and I wouldn't even make like a joke like that or a reference like that,
So I think because you're, I'm gonna say a term probably wrong, because you're woke.
Because I'm woke.
But like, I think it's very hard when you're same sex oriented, right? Because how do you know? Like for instance, because I'm not, right? And so years ago, there was this cute young girl that worked at this restaurant that we used to go to, and she would always get really excited to see me, and she'd give me a hug, and she'd always be like, "Man, if I was into women, or
Mhm.
if I was a man, and I'd
Yeah.
laugh and be like, me too, girl, whatever.
Yeah.
And my ex at the time was like, no, she wants to hook up with you. I go, no, she doesn't. Girls say that. We say that stuff, which we do. We
Mhm.
do say that stuff.
Yeah.
Heterosexual women say it to other women, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, you're insane. She's like 21, cute as button, like, you know what I mean? She's cute little. I was wrong.
Yeah.
It turned out later I was incorrect. She actually was interested in me in that way. And here I was telling her all the time, like, me too, girl, you're so cute. Blah, blah. I don't know if I was I thought I was just being funny with her, and I may have unintentionally,
like let her on. Or
yeah. And I was like, this is awkward. But I was also flattered.
Yeah.
Is that wrong to be flattered? I was flattered. I was like, she's really cute.
I just feel like, like we said, it is possible. I know that there are people out there who do it. I just think across the board, in my experience in being friendly with, somebody who could potentially be attracted or, want to be sexual or something. And I'm not saying it's always them. I'm saying it may have been me at points too, more so when I was younger. As I got older, I stopped.
It goes back into the pick me thing too, right? Because like I have in life, had a man express interest to where I'm like, oh, like I don't have those feelings for you.
Yeah.
Or they know I'm single or whatever. And I'm like, but it's not there. And it makes them like want to try harder. I'm like,
they're the pick me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm like, don't try harder. Like, I just don't.
And how many girls are like, oh, well, I could change. Like a man will say like, oh, I'm not ready for commitment. And she goes, and like, don't get me wrong. I am the same way. I fully believe every relationship that I've been in, I've been like, well, I'm obviously gonna be the one to like change their mind.
Every time.
Which I will say, the only reason I believe that is because it's proven to be true. Every person that I've been with, they say like, oh, I have commitment issues.
It was true.
And then
it was true for me till I hit like 40. And then
they're in love.
Not so much.
What'd you say?
I said it was true for me till like I hit 40. And then that stopped.
And
I was very confused. Like, what did I do? What's going on?
But it is a toxic mindset to have to think that like I think we all think we're special, and we should think that we're special, right? Like you should think that you have something special to offer, but to think that you are special enough to like change the core of somebody, like who they are, is wild, is crazy.
Well, and think of gender wise too, right? So we all think like we're the one, we're different. I'm not like other girls. We're not. But every man cannot, if you flip the switch, right? Like if every guy you came in contact with was like, I'm going to change your mind. You'd be like, okay, creepy, get away from me.
Yeah.
Right? Like we would be like, that's weird. But somehow it's accepted female behavior that we think that we're going to change men, right? However, the men are buying into it too.
I think a lot of women, we touched on it. I actually wanted to go more into it about like the whole competing aspect. Like,
but men are buying into it too, because when we say, oh no, I don't want that, they think that they're going to change your mind.
Right.
So they're also doing that.
Right. But
I don't know if they have more success than we do, or they just easily go, oh, okay, and move on faster. I don't really know. But I think women get more obsessed with it, obsessed with changing that man's mind. I think men will try a little bit and then go, okay, and then go on to the next one.
But I think, like there's so many women that like compete with other women, right? Like almost so much, like something that's like a lot of women, girls online that I see kind of talk about is like, whether or not they're blonde, like, oh, like it's like almost a hierarchy to be like naturally blonde versus like, oh, you have to get highlights, or you know what I'm saying? Like blonde is seen as this like, and beauty standards are different for everybody. I'm not saying I necessarily think you have to be blonde to be pretty. I think there's whatever. I think beauty comes in all sorts of different shapes and sizes, right? But I'm just using that as an example, right? Like, or even we'll just talk about eyes, right? A lot of people in a lot of different cultures value light colored eyes. Blue and green eyes are seen as like beautiful and stuff like that. And it's like this hierarchy of like, well, she may have, a fat ass and a tiny waist, but I have blue eyes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or so much so that like maybe you're the one in the group who's known for being like, you have like these beautiful green eyes, like you're like a Disney princess, right? And everyone in your friend group, let's say they all have like brown eyes. And then they befriend somebody who's like, has a similar thing that you have to offer, bring to the table, and then they feel some type of way like, oh, well, I can be the only one with blue eyes in the group. You know what I'm saying?
I've said that about my race before. I've been like, oh no, I'm the token one in this situation.
Right. But it is like,
but it's funny that you say about blondes, because I have my male friends, the few that I have, constantly. I don't know why they think they should have an opinion in my life, but they feel that they do.
I have an opinion on everything.
They're constantly giving me a hard time about having blonde hair. I like brunette. Well, I didn't ask you what you like. And they're like, but you're a brunette. You're a natural brunette. And I'm like, these days I'm natural gray, my friend.
Yeah.
So it's getting colored no matter what, and they're just like, wow. And strong opinions about how I should be a brunette. So I guess there are plenty of men who prefer that.
I know people
I'm like, why do you even have an opinion? It's just a hair color.
Well, I even know like girls who have been like, they don't want to be like, for me personally, I think I'm beautiful. I think I'm like, I think everyone should think that they are beautiful and truly feel that way. Yeah. Right. So I think I'm beautiful, and I recognize that there's other types of beauty. Right. And I don't think I'm like pretty or uglier than anybody else. I think we're all different. Right. But I do like, if I see, I befriend people who I also think are pretty, right? You know, mm-hmm. I'm not saying that I'm not trying to say that I'm not going to be friends with someone.
No, but I think people's attitude makes
on the opposite end is what I'm trying to get to, is that I think there are people who are insecure. They don't feel pretty themselves, so they don't want to be friends with people they find pretty. You know what I'm saying? Really? Like if I feel insecure about myself, I'm not going to be friends with the prettiest girl in the room. I'm actually going to be friends with people who I think look the way I feel about myself, so that I feel better about myself.
Interesting.
They do it to uplift themselves, right? And so,
in a meaner stance, you got to put someone down to make yourself feel better,
right? Like I want to be the pretty one in the group, so I can't be friends with her because she's pretty. And I think shallowness goes either way. That's why I tried to say, like, I'm not saying that I'm like not gonna be friends with somebody if I don't think they're pretty. Because if once you become my friend, I'm gonna think you're pretty because I see beauty in like who they are, right? But I'm talking about first impressions, right? Like if I see a girl who may be like, dresses the way I dress or something, or has something similar to me that I like about myself, I'm gonna go be friends with her. But other people are gonna be like, no, I can't be friends with her because she's too cute, she's too this. Because they feel bad about themselves. And you being confident in who you are, whether you actually look good or not, you just being confident in who you are makes them feel small, so they can't include you in there, like, which I think is also,
I think I'm like when people think I'm attractive. I do my hair and do my makeup and try to dress appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
So I like being attractive. I like when people think that I'm attractive, but specifically, like, if that's the from a potential suitor, right? If that's the only compliment I'm getting, I'm kind of like, I'm 50, right? So I hope that you like me, or that you're interested in more of that, because this is going downhill, my friend.
Yeah.
Like slowly, thankfully, but it's going down. I'm on the other side of the hill.
Yeah.
So you better like more than that, or you're just temporarily in it. And that sucks too,
and that's the thing too, right? Like if you're insecure about yourself and you're not going to pursue somebody because as a friend or romantically, because you feel like, they have something you don't, it comes from a place of envy, I think, and I'm not saying I feel envy or jealousy sometimes too. Sometimes for me, I'm more jealous about money. I see rich people and I'm like, man, I want to be rich. So much so that I might, I'd be like, no, I don't be friends with rich people. You're gonna make me feel more broke than I already am. You know what I'm saying? Like I keep the rich people at a distance, unless you want to.
Speaking of, we have some comments.
We do have comments.
We haven't checked in.
Brittany said, my aunt is like that. She will always say she was glad she didn't have any girls, but her son has a ton of childhood trauma due to some of her parenting. Miss Carter said, hello, you guys.
Good morning.
But Tina says, hello. Hello, Tina. Brittany said, the male bosses I have were all idiots. Most of the female bosses I have were even worse. We have a new person joining us, Wahid. Hello.
Hello, Wahid.
And then Amal said Jeremy is an exception. Jeremy's he's her friend, but I've like kind of become friends with him too. Mm-hmm. He's from what I've seen so far, she's hung out with him more than I have, but from what I've hung out with him so far, he doesn't seem like one of those misogynist men, I cut some men slack. It's okay. Tina said gross. I think when I was talking about
you have to have the Amal backing to get in as a male to Abby's life.
No, yeah. You have to
to be sponsored.
You have to be approved by somebody to be my friend. Tina said gross when I was talking about the moms grooming their sons.
Oh, that's pretty gross.
And then Cave Troll says some guys see it as a challenge, women too. I think when like, you pursue them and then they're not interested, so you think you have to just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It actually irritates me. I'm like, thanks for respecting any sort of boundaries I just put up.
Yeah.
Now I dislike you more.
Kristen said, I had a close friend for years who decided she was the pretty one and I was inferior.
Sorry, Kristen. I still love you.
Mom.
Just kidding.
But you know, that's right. Like, I think, and you shouldn't pursue friendships based off of looks. And that's not what I was trying to say earlier. And I think it may have came. What I was trying to say was like, I'm not gonna not befriend someone because I feel like they're too pretty or they're prettier than me and I feel threatened by it. I think that's kind of the more point. I think some people feel threatened by it. But Terry says some women think the pretty girl won't want to be their friend. And that goes back to like stereotypes too, right? Like, you think of like if you see someone who, you know, maybe you find beautiful or like they just seem confident in themselves, because that I think that also expresses a lot of beauty. It's just confidence. Someone who's sure of themselves, like, you know, someone who's maybe like working up the courage to make friends might be like, ooh, she might be too much, or like she probably has too many friends already anyways. Or you think like, oh, maybe she's shallow, maybe she won't want to be friends with me.
My friends, or not the Gen X crowd, can you chime in right now? Is that something that you're speaking of from the past? Like you felt as a younger woman, and do you feel differently now? Because like right now, I just like having female friends. I don't think I give a minute of thought to what they look like at all.
Yeah.
And I'm single. So I mean, I don't see any of them as competition. Like, I would never compete against my friend.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But I think a lot of people do. And that's why they're strategic about who they pick as friends. And like I said, sometimes it's the opposite, right? Like, well, I'm super gorgeous and pretty, so I want all my friends to be super gorgeous and pretty. I'm not friends with uggos. Like, you know what I mean?
The deaf, whatever.
Because they want to compete, but they also, you know, there's that idea of like you are who you surround yourself with. So I think that like pick me energy can go both ways. And that's why you're right. You shouldn't pick people based off of how they look. And you shouldn't let the way that they look intimidate you either.
I will say, now that I kind of just thought about this too, is talking about the past, like my good friend, younger, before marriage, before all that I used to go out with all the time when I was young and single. Also very pretty girl, but like the opposite of me. Like she was Hispanic and short, and she was
just like nothing to compare.
Right. We used to laugh because there was no competition, because if someone thought she was good looking, they thought I was just not interested.
Yeah. Or
plain,
vice versa.
And vice versa. If they were into me, they're kind of like, yeah, not my type to her. So worked out great for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I didn't intentionally pick, like we were friends. We met in high school and became friends. You know what I mean? And it just kind of was funny down the line that it just worked out that way. There was only like one person ever that was into both of us.
Yeah. Well, and like that, I mean, I'm also just, I would never in a million years let a guy get in between me and my friend, or like, you know, like that would just literally never happen. Like I would literally, even if it's like, let's say like a hypothetical situation, I'm really into somebody and they are into my friend, then by the person, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that my strong friendships, we would both say, okay, well, that's weird. We're just going to get rid of the person and still be friends. You know what I'm saying? But I think a lot of women who are male centered, you know, will tear down their friend or feel like a type of way towards their friend just because a guy likes them. They may not even like the guy back.
So I was actually just speaking, not even having to do with the show, but I was speaking with a friend like a night or two ago. And I do, some of my friends are commenting on here that I've been friends with for a long time. And in that sense, I know their husbands very well. Yes, I have their husbands' phone numbers. Yes, we are all friends. And I would say that we are all very good friends.
Yeah.
For over 15 years. I've, you know, spent holidays with all of them and everything else, right?
Yeah.
I have, not for any reason, not because anybody told me to, I don't contact their husbands or boyfriends unless it's like a surprise for them, or we're trying to, you know what I mean? It's their birthday, like, hey, what can I get so-and-so? At all.
Yeah.
If I have any question, I go to my female friend.
I've noticed you do that even if you were friends with the guy first, or you met the guy through the woman.
Yes.
Or you met the woman through the man.
Yeah. Yes. Our core friend group, I started by working with a man, and then he introduced me to his wife. I then was like, I saw him at work, but then
Which also
You
goes
know,
back to like, I also think
disrespectful, you know?
now we're kind of going into relationships in general, which I'm down for. I also think it's really inappropriate to not address both of the people. You know what I'm saying? Like if like, let's say like you and I are besties, right? And you have a boyfriend and maybe I know him, maybe I don't, right? To not address like both of you was insane to me.
Like if we're both here,
Yeah,
in our
you both-
presence.
Like I run into you and your man.
Oh yeah, sure.
And there are people that will do that. That will straight up not address you in the room, which
It's not everybody has social skills, I guess.
but I also, and I've told like my partner this too, like I want to be introduced to like, if especially like when we're in spaces where like, you know, my partner's more like comfortable with the people around or knows more people, like I want to be introduced, or I'm going to introduce myself, but I'd rather be like introduced because like, yeah, what I'm not going to do is just sit here like this while you chitter chatter with somebody. Like at least address me, say hello.
Yeah, I don't think I'm always the best at it, but definitely you should right away go, oh, hey, this is my daughter, Abby.
Because it just leads to like jealousy, right? Like, because
it's just appropriate.
I think, yeah, like if I see my friend and her boyfriend or whatever, and or like let's say I see my friend and he has a friend from high school or something like that. I'm telling you, I was not friends with a lot of guys, but let's say I was friends with a guy and he has a girl and with him, and like I'm gonna say, oh hey friend, like good to see you. Who's this with you? Hello, I love your outfit. Like I'm gonna do whatever I can to make the girly pop feel comfortable. Like I don't want your man. I'd rather be friends with you actually. He just brought us together, girl. We're friends now. We're besties. You know what I'm saying?
Be careful how you say that though, because I watched two of my friends who did not know each other.
Mm-hmm.
The one said hi to her boyfriend, then she turned to the other one and was like, oh, I've known him for a long time. I'm not a threat. To which she goes, I didn't think you were a threat. And I was like, whoa.
No, that's a weird thing to say.
It's a weird thing
you have to set the vibe. I always say show, don't tell. Like like, you know, people love to say, oh, I'm such a good person. I'm such a good person. I'm such a good person. Are you? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like you don't have to say it.
Right. I'd rather show, not tell.
I did want to say one more thing though.
So if you're not a threat, show me that bitch. Oh, now I'm mad.
Okay.
Now I'm angry.
Okay. It's you actually like the person who said that, so chill out.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was just a comment that was made.
You have to tell me after who it was.
I will. So might be watching it, might call me later, like Jennifer. Anyway, also in my research, there are pick me boys. And do you know what this means? It's not the same.
It's the nice guy.
No. Yes, but the main thing that came out was not. Yes, also the one that befriends you. But they actually are.
Oh, I know one of them.
They actually want to talk crap about your man. So
I know one of them. And I know someone who knows what I'm talking about.
So that was one, but that wasn't the main thing. Like that was kind of what like Reddit kind of had to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the main one, and I haven't seen this, and I didn't know it was a thing, is men who self-deprecate to get women.
Fish for compliments.
Yes.
Oh, I hate that.
I guess I just don't have a girlfriend because I'm so ugly. Oh my God, you're not ugly. You're so cute. You know that.
When anybody, men or women, because women do that too. When anybody does that to me, I play so dumb. Like if someone says like, oh, well, because I'm just this, I'm like, mm-hmm. If that's how you feel, I mean, because I don't like passive aggressiveness in any kind of way. And to me, that's passive aggressive. Like you're passive aggressively basically asking me to say that you look good. Here's what I would do and what me and my friends do. Girl, how do I look? I look messed up or I look cute? Like be direct. You know what I mean? If you want reassurance that you look okay, ask me and I'll tell you. Or maybe I won't.
I guess
maybe I'll say you look busted.
I guess if it was the same as like pick me girls, right? Though then they'd have to act like girls. I love to go shopping. I love to do and then us women would get the wrong idea.
But it's different, right? Because men or women are different. And
right. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They can't do that, right? So then they have to do the whole, which I think is just pathetic. But anyway.
I think some men also will let women walk all over them. And
I like this man. Call me.
Like, you know, just being there for them all the time and like,
yeah.
No,
just kidding.
But it doesn't feel genuine, right? Because there's like other intentions, right? It's of the hopes that
true.
like that you come to your senses and you see that I'm such a nice guy and I have so much to offer because I do all these things for you and I'm always here for you. I'm here whenever you call me. And it's like, bro, get a life. Like she's not interested. It's embarrassing to see, but like I said, it's because the intention is that one day you're going to wake up and smell the roses and you're going to see that I've been here the whole time. It's going to be a fairy tale movie, lifetime movie moment. And it never is.
Just so you know, women are also like that. And Taylor Swift wrote a song called Do You Belong With Me? Just saying. You should look it up.
Okay.
I'm becoming Swiftie. Let's couple more comments, and do we not
You
have
read
time?
them.
Okay.
We don't have time for Am I the Asshole?
Oh man, it actually was the same. I mean, it was about
We
Pick Me.
already read that.
Okay, well, you're telling me to tell it.
Okay. Terry said, maybe in our 20s, I'm at the age that I don't care what people look like or how they dress. And then Kristen said it was in the past too. Solomon said, those guys get really mad when it doesn't work out. And that's what I was going to say. Then they turn into incels. And if you don't know what an incel is, it's an involuntary celibate man. And these are men who can't get women. They started off as like it gets literally a Reddit thing. Like I'm not tearing anybody down. They are very vocal about I'm involuntary celibate.
Oh.
So much so that they hate women and tear them down and
that just leads to being celibate longer.
Well, it also leads these groups of men become very violent, and a lot of them have been they've done the pew-pews, mass pew-pews. Pew-pew.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, there was a school pew-pew shooting. I'll just say it. A school shooting yesterday. And I was talking about this with my friend, and I think we focus a lot on, I just want to get serious for a second, because I think we focus a lot on, bullying, you know what I'm saying? And which I think is a part of it. But I also think we need to look at these people who are, and I'm not saying just incels, but people who are like that, like where they have a deep, or even like people who are extremely racist, expressing extreme racist beliefs, who have a hatred towards any group of individuals. Those are the people we need to worry about. Like, yeah, also bullying is a separate issue, but when we chalk up these people actually like dying to bullying, I don't really think I think these people are messed up and they have hatred towards a certain group of people and want to send a message. And so, yeah, incels. There was this one situation. It was, I'm going to say it wrong. I think it was like a Virginia college something that happened.
Like a long time ago or more recently?
More recently. Okay. Yeah. It was like in the age of YouTube, because this guy uploaded a video and like he had this whole manifesto about, he was an incel. He was like a big person in like the incel like movement on Reddit. He was like one of the main like founders of this something. I forget. I don't know his name because I don't care about these people. But yeah, they become, yes, he said Virginia Tech. Yeah.
There was like a long time ago, like kind of Virginia Tech thing too, I think. But anyway, go ahead.
I could be wrong. Maybe I'm mixing things up because I do a lot of stuff. I look into the stuff a lot, which is probably not healthy for me. But anyways, but yeah, it's the incel behavior, those men that like, you know what I'm saying? So all that to say,
I also find like, because I know in my later years, player energy, player type men who like dislike women a lot.
Yeah.
But they want to like run through them.
I think it's because they have mommy issues and they want to get back at their mom. They feel like,
think so?
I watch a lot of movies.
We're not psychologists, FYI.
No, but I watch a lot of movies. A lot of movies.
They're just opinions of J&A.
No, I think I feel certified and qualified to say that. It's because of all the movies I watched that I know it's because they have mommy issues.
Because you have your Netflix PhD?
Netflix, Tubi, TikTok. This was a wonderful show. Kristen said some men blame their past or present relationships
on the emotions of them.
To play on the emotions of women.
To play.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Women do that as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Y'all have to heal from your broken relationships before you get into a new one. Don't bring that into a new relationship. That's it. That's all I have to say on that. That's my PSA for today.
Facts, no printer. My PSA is watch out for those weirdos, the incels and stuff. Just saying.
All right. So next Friday is Friday the 13th, y'all. We're gonna talk about being unlucky. I don't know. Are we? I think we're gonna talk about like superstitions and conspiracy theories, all sorts of fun, weird, spooky-ish Friday the 13th stuff. Oh, by the way, KV is also a Virgo, and her birthday was this week. So shout out to KV. Thank you for joining the show today. I hope you had a great day. Please join us next Friday for our spooky segment, and do your YouTube thing. Yes, and follow us on all platforms at Journeys and Ambitions, except Twitter. It's a little bit different. Go find it. It's in the description. Love you. Kisses. Bye. Thank you. Bye.